the environmental movement really wants to be legitimate, it has to be able to compete both politically as well as economically and build a green infrastructure. And that's what I work on every day and every night. And that's a big reason why I'm running for the board of directors of the National Sierra Club. Well, I'm a very hard worker. There are very few people who can work as hard as me. The membership is what creates policy and agenda of Sierra Club. I really want to see the staff help the volunteers more. I got very unhappy about the Sierra Club's Clorox deal. Sierra Club signed a business deal with Clorox, and that really motivated me to get involved. I think the Clorox deal is a perfect example of Clorox trying to greenwash its business practices. They still have all the petrochemical-based cleaning products, but they rolled out this new quote-unquote green cleaner. What's next for Sierra Club? Marlboro Cigarettes rolls out an organic cigarette, and Sierra Club endorses the Marlboro organic line. That's ridiculous. We're better than that. What Sierra Club should do about greenwashing, we should call it what it is. British Petroleum is still British Petroleum. They're not beyond petroleum. We've based our economy on exploitation and on pollution. It doesn't have to be but that way. And what we should do as Sierra Club is really get out there, call it like it is, and push back when we have to. When I was a little boy, I was about 5 years old, and I was fishing in a place called Whitney Pond Park, and I used to catch these big, gorgeous goldfish. And I used to sell them, matter of fact, for $1 a piece to the local fish stores. One time I caught this gorgeous goldfish. I was about 5 or 6 years old. I turned it over, and right here, right up on its gill, was a big white water of a tumor. And right there, where I caught the fish, there was a little rivulet of pollution coming from a building. It was all rusty and oily and really, really pretty awful. Right where I caught this fish, and I thought to myself, well, how can adults allow this to happen? Again, I was a college student, and I got very involved with the anti-war effort back in 1990-91 with the first Gulf War. So I've spent the last 18 years, since 1991, trying to develop a platform and a program about alternatives to foreign oil, alternatives to fossil fuel, which work, which are economically competitive and can function and provide in this modern society. And I think I've done that. I've developed the Earth Index of publicly traded companies that provide solutions to environmental pollution. I've trademarked that. I've created Ecologic Advisors. Ecologic Advisors is a New York State registered investment advisory. Invest green. Very few industries are growing by 30% a year. Energy efficiency and renewable energy is growing by 30% a year. My electric bill is a third of the average home on Long Island. My house isn't a third the size of the average home on Long Island. My home is of the average size on Long Island. So I think of energy efficiency right off the bat is a way to put more money in your pocket. So please get more energy efficient and don't send it to the electric companies and don't send it to the oil companies. Please get more energy efficient. First thing. Second thing, I believe there's a lot that can be said for quality over quantity. Do you need a huge SUV vehicle or a Hummer vehicle? I thought it was the height of irresponsibility for Americans during the Gulf War, where American young men and young women are killing and being killed, and Americans are driving Hummer vehicles. Nuclear power can't be spun to be a green energy source. From its beginning, the mining of plutonium and other nuclear isotopes, it's destructive, it's problematic. There's a great deal of research as to the damage done in the mining of this product and to the use of the product. Right now, the Indian Point facility every day releases nuclear waste into the Hudson River. I think it's very problematic, and as a Sierra Club member, I won't hesitate to raise the issue of nuclear power as being very problematic. Further example, on Long Island, there's about 1,500 houses that have a solar roof. There's over 1 million structures on Long Island. But what happens if we build out those solar roofs? Say 15,000 solar roofs or 150,000 solar roofs. All of a sudden, all that power that's being generated by the centralized power plants probably wouldn't be needed. So how are those people going to pay their bonded debt? Because they've been bonded out 30, 40 years, expected and planned to sell kilowatts for the next 30 to 40 years. So energy efficiency and renewable energy is a game changer. Completely changes how America does business. That's what I'm interested in seeing happen. Carbon tax. A tax on carbon, I feel, would rewrite the economic Bible. I think it would absolutely rewrite the economic Bible. Take that, tax carbon, tax the combustion of carbon, whether it's coal, natural gas, or oil, and roll that money into energy efficiency and renewable energy. Call it a pollution tax, call it a carbon tax, call it whatever you want. Call it a foreign oil tax, call it whatever you got to call it. But tax carbon, tax the combustion of carbon, and roll that money into energy efficiency and renewable energy. And I think that'll build an infrastructure within the next generation. The green movement has to be politically savvy, has to be economically competitive, and as we become politically stronger and more economically competitive, I think people will choose green. Sierra Club's a great organization, a 750,000 member organization. The 15 members of the board of directors run that organization. 300 employees, $70 million annual budget. And as a true environmentalist, the person who's been involved in the environmental movement since the first Gulf War back in 1991, I think I can play a positive role on the Sierra Club board of directors.